With the 50 crocodiles, 43 are going to be your females. So they're between roughly 3 metres, and the biggest one, he'd be 4.2 metres. The biggest one at 4.2, he weighs half a tonne, and that 3 metre crocodile weighs just about probably 200 to 300 kilos weight. And that just shows, just by telling you the size difference and the weight difference, the males are the big boys. Some people say, do females get bigger than 3.5? No, so genetically they and those eggs will consistently get destroyed. In the Northern Territory it can be slightly different, and also natural predators as well. So the way they jump is pretty fascinating. They move some of the organs, then they lift the head right up, then the tail drops. Sunshine is smaller than the depth of the river. Remember, it's 3.5 metres deep. Sunshine's about 3 metres, so she can jump vertically out of the water very well. So yeah, they move their organs, the head comes up and the tail drops. And again, if you're smaller than the depth of the pond, you jump vertically. Here we go. Wow! And we're not teasing them, this is enrichment and exercise for the crocodile. So during the day, or during this time of the day, they will come to the boat, but then during the night, they might hunt the birds and bats from the tree branches. Same principle as well. The incidents
she's going to snap you.
and when you feed one crocodile, that will stimulate your water other crocs that are under the water on your eye. You guys will see bubble. There was bubble forming before, that's current, that's turbulent. And then sunshine gets all that. There's a big difference between who gets the most territory. So if you're big and dominant, you're going to get more chunks of water. And you might have seen up on the bank of a little girl up there. She lives on the other side of the river, but that's where she wants to sit there and bask. And she's using her brain. She's trying to grab the food the moment it contacts the water. Which is the same thing if a bird lands or a duck lands in the water, bang, that's the reaction they're going for. What sunshine looks. And that's another way you can pick up recruiters who aren't for a while. Either that, or you don't hear this snapping of the shells in their jaws. Now, some of these as well on this side, if you look to your left, underneath this broken branch, there's a head of a crocodile. A male. This one to your right is a 3 metre girl. Oh, wow. So from this distance to that boy, you. Well, that's the plan. So, everyone's pushing the buttons today, guys. Who's going over? As we get closer, you'll start to see just how big the head is. You make a commotion, get the crocodile curious. Plus, you've got bait. Once you hook up a barra, it's a different story. It's Adelaide jumping croc cruisers, so if he wants to, he jumps pretty good. But he's lived here for about 7 weeks. The other crocs we've just fed, 10 years. He's very cautious. Very cautious of what's there. You go.
Now I see. He said
Come on! So, male crocs are a bit more, well, most males are stubborn. Oh, there you go. To the ones in the Adelaide River. The other he's at the back of the boat. Yeah. Other crocodiles he's very wary, particularly the other big male. His name's Prince. Prince and this male have been fighting for a couple of times. Prince has got brand new scars. That new boy had no injuries and he's got a few. You can see they don't do what you ask them to do. The male gets 12 kilometres squared of territory. The females are within that territory as well. So the male has to constantly check on his girlfriends, even though he's got multiple wives at a time. So, oh, there he is now. Our big boy, Prince, he owns 20 wives, which means. Again, the same as the turtles and some of the fish. She got half of it. I'd really like. Well, now he's showing himself, so that's a good sign. To be fair, he's gotten really angry to get fed yet. Very last second, their reflexes again are 10 times quicker than you guys blinking, so it is very. You get on them nuts.
He's having a look.
Come on, lift your head up.
Whoa.
Come, big fella!
Probably tormented him. Is this the one Nigel caught?
Sorry.
Nigel works at the cock farm.
Oh,
and he
okay.
caught one.
I reckon that's him there.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, there.
You might recognise you, that's probably why he hangs around here.
Oh, just wait. Just wait, he's coming now. He's coming now. Look. See? Just watch. Just watch. Yes!
Remember, he's 4.2 and she's 3 metres, so he's got the size and weight. So who's more dominant, who's more aggressive? You see why we named her Ronda Rousey? That big boy wanted to go somewhere and she said, not with my permission. So think of them underwater. When they bite underwater, it's like a landmine stomp.
Oh, so you'd know if they were fire.
Yeah, it's when she hits, or if the male hits vice versa, it makes a big scene, or the water just erupts. So there she is there. Now in the water, they can swim 9 metres. Well, you might witness a bit of a punch on them. There we go. When they jump like that, you know you're doing it right. That way they want to actually get it. Having said that, again, he's big and powerful, but he's like scared of it. Oh, for a male, let's go. But that's how they swallow in the water. Lift their head right up. If you go by age, then yes. If you go by length, crocodile, like all reptiles, and 80s, they're sitting there going, that doesn't work. But the way they did Cassius is when they caught Cassius back in 1984, I'm going to pinch right through that 3 metres. But I also have a backup copper. So if he's on that side, I'm pretty guaranteed he's safe. But they would take that. We just constantly tap around the face and they hate it and they take it. As soon as I lift in the air, the crocs go, and freak out. Well, some freak out, others
That would blow away.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, he blends in.
These guys are pigeons and they're really smart. Over in America, they train them up to blind dogs and help the old people use computers.
Oh, guys, look at this. They're reaching through the fruit.
They're in most of the movies.
Thank you.
I think he dropped it inside. No, he dropped it outside the enclosure.
Don't do that again. Come on.
That monkey's just...
Look at the baby monkey, Ashton. Ashton, come look. Mom, Dad. Come look at the baby one. Come look at the baby one.
back, so tell you what, we're going to have to do something about our zip line. It's getting too close to the water for these guys. When they were littler, it was a lot more fun because they really had to work for their food, but now they're getting really big and they can jump a lot higher. They're like little torpedoes.
That looks like a
Oh, you got it. Then really? So they get fed every single day. But this fella thinks he's just going to get easy feed. I reckon someone's been easily feeding him right there. The more exercise these guys get, the better it is for them. These guys are already jumping anyway. As soon as they come straight out of the egg, they're, especially out in the wild, they're jumping up to get little insects hanging in low-hanging trees. And even when they're adults, they're jumping up to get birds, bats and whatever they can, whatever's flying too low to the water, or sitting in trees that are hanging too close to the water as well. You know, their tail is strong enough to just it is strong enough to push them through the water at 30 k's an hour. They can launch out of the water at standstill position at 28 k's an hour. It's crazy. If you say you're standing like a metre near the water, that's it. Well, you've always got to make sure you're standing at least 3 or 5 metres, 5 or 10 metres back from the water's edge around anybody who's in that. Alright guys, I don't want to waste any more of my chickens, so we'll head off round to the attack lagoon and get the big boy in there and out.
The attack crocodile.
I didn't know there was 2 crocodiles in there.
That's a thing.
Really?
Yeah,
Big Bertha.
Big yeah. No, it's the only girl that he's actually allowed to stay. Alright guys, so this big boy in here, this is Speckles, and his girlfriend is Sprinkles. Don't mind the name. He did get his name from his skin. So we do have a culvert over there underneath that log, and he used to go in there all the time, swim up and down, and absolutely love it. But he was ruining his skin, and now he's got a lot of scars over him. Now Speckles is our 36-year-old line. She did last in here a good couple of months before he thought, no, don't like you, and then ended up getting rid of her. But this girl here, this place, so every time we go in, we do a really big clean out in here. I reckon he's going to be a little bit lazy.
Try a little harder. So slow.
You know, on his good days, he can actually touch the bottom of this platform when he's really jumping.
Yeah, jealous.
How deep is the pool?
About 4 meters deep, or 5 meters deep. Like right here, right in front of me is like the deepest point. So he's got enough room to get his tail in motion.
Yeah. Goes backwards.
Come on, mate. He's being really lazy.
Why is he in here and not one of the other big ones?
He was really pretty once upon a time.
Oh. So he got pretty privileged.
No, he just drew the lucky straw, I suppose. Those guys up there, so when the park initially opened, it was a a research facility, and there was only just the boardwalk pens and the raising pens over there. Later on, and a couple of those crocodiles up there were being researched on and educational purposes as well. There were students studying. saltwater crocodiles. And then those guys all got moved around up there, and then Speckles got the opportunity to come in here when they were already built, so it was just easier for him to come up from down there straight into this pen. Moving all those guys up there. Just flick all of that off. Alright guys, that was the last bit of my chicken. Would you guys be interested in holding a baby crocodile? Yeah. Alright, I'll get you guys to all head up there where that umbrella is. There is some sanitizer on the poles, and just get you guys to put some of that on, and I'll be up there in a minute.
She's just